is starting to wind down, but you probably spent a lot of time at the beach this summer.
Yes.
A lot, yep. And you probably saw, if you went to the beach in Lewis, a sign that looks like this. It says, "Welcome to Johnnie Walker Beach." Previously it was known as Beach 2.
Yeah, one of those seems like it has a lot more significance than the other.
It definitely does. So to explain the significance and the 2-year anniversary of Johnnie Walker Beach, we have Bill Colick with us today. Thank you so much for being here, Bill.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we were talking a little bit before we got rolling. You are so knowledgeable about the history in Lewis, especially the African-American history there, and the importance of Johnnie Walker Beach. Could you just tell us, who was Johnnie Walker?
Well, Johnnie Walker was an individual who was tied tightly to the community. And then Johnnie Walker had a restaurant on what is called sometimes Beach Number 2. And younger people were able to go there. Also, older people on Sundays at times had baptisms there, picnic lunches, and then Johnnie Walker was so well known in our community and so well respected that parents would entrust their kids there with Johnnie Walker, and certainly there were lifeguards, but it wasn't like Johnnie Walker was down on the beach, but there was just a feeling that it was a well-run operation and Johnnie Walker was overseeing it, and there was so much respect for him, and it was a great time to grow up and a great place to grow up.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Awesome. And I love hearing you and seeing you light up when you're talking about all this history, but more importantly, community. And I think that's sort of when people say, you know, we want to go back to the time of community, it's that storytelling that I think warms people's hearts. So you guys just had your 2-year celebration of this being named Johnnie Walker Beach. How was the celebration?
Wonderful. We attempt to grow it, if there's such a thing. We've been blessed with a individual who actually grew up in Lewis, with the exception of spending, I think, 4 or 5 years in the Navy, and he did a little time in Pennsylvania where he met his wife and married, but by the name of Lewis C. Riley, and he has spoken the last 2 years, and he's we always say Walt Disney doesn't have anything on him. He's a tremendous storyteller, and he talks about things about the beach and Johnnie Walker, and he's just quite special. So we've been very fortunate with that. There is a committee, and again, we're attempting to grow it. But when you talk about the history of Lewis, you can't talk about it, period, and some people say Black history, but when you talk about the history period of Lewis, it can't go on without talking about and knowing and finding out things about Johnnie Walker.
Awesome. That is for sure. And can we dive a little bit deeper into the beach itself? Of course, Johnnie Walker, who it was named after, but the importance of this beach. I mean, this was, you mentioned it earlier, a place where community came, but it was a place for the African-American community to really gather.
In those settings, everybody was somebody, and you were important, and everyone felt at Johnnie Walker's restaurant and on that beach that you belonged, you were important. We used to kind of laugh about it and say that as we grew older and learned about things like deeds with property, we always thought that maybe we all were on that deed at Johnnie Walker's property there. But everybody was welcome, and it was a wonderful place to have a great time and grow up as a young person. We had an individual in Ellendale, because he lived in Ellendale, who gave us a picture of him. We kind of were scrambling for a bit for a picture of him, but found a great picture of him, and boy, it looks, it's just like him. It's like he was there. Like he would be here now. And it was a great picture, and so we want to grow it, and we are looking for people that might have known him. Certainly he was just an unbelievable community guy, well connected, and also he was involved in advocating for housing. He had a construction company too, and they built houses, and a lot of people got their first house as a result of being involved with Johnnie Walker.
Hey, thank you for what you do and for keeping this history alive and these stories alive in Lewis.
Well, we thank you so much. It's just People talk about Black history, but it's American history. It's how this town prospered and grew up. And again, he was just a special individual, and we need to celebrate him.
You do. Well, good for you guys for keeping his memory alive.
Yes.
Very important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you again for being here, and thank you for sticking around. We have some more Coast Life heading your way, so we'll be right back.